What's going on, fish? Welcome back to your favorite pond. You got us once again for another week, coming out and hanging out. I'm joined with my co-host KDawg on this fine Thursday, summer evening, morning, whatever. I never remember when this fucking comes out.
That's alright.
But, Thursday morning. Hope everyone has a great week, is having a great week, and is going to have a great week. We're in the middle of the goddamn nothing season.
No man's land.
There's nothing going on. We're going to create our own fun, as you probably see by the thumbnail of this title. Going over tight ends today. Think if there's any news for us before we jump into this, so we don't run through this too fast. I'll get ahead of myself if I talk too quick.
Yep.
But
let's just do this little trivia thing out of the gate.
Yeah,
How
that
about
works for me. We got
Just
KDawgs Trivia.
All right, this one kind of amazed me.
Love it.
Only one quarterback in NFL history has started 50-plus games and not thrown a pick six. So this list includes, these are people that have 50-plus games.
50 games.
And have thrown a pick six.
Right.
So Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Eli Manning, Joe Montana, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Dan Marino, Dak Prescott, Phillip Rivers, Warren Moon, Andy Dalton. It just goes on and on and on. All these people. John Elway, Steve Young, Kurt Warner. There's one guy on this whole list who has 50-plus games and has not thrown a pick six. Do you have any guess?
And before you guess, if you're watching right now, pause it and put your guess in the comments below. I have sadly seen this.
You saw it.
I saw it on Instagram, and
Son of a biscuit.
No, it's good. I wanted to talk about this.
You did?
I cannot believe who the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Mitchell Trubisky?
It is.
That is insane.
It is. That's why you'll see some of these things that pop up, and it's like, oh, okay. Who wouldn't get to that, or at least have an idea? This one blew my mind.
That is a stat that is very sneaky and not expected.
That's
because that goes into his time with the Steelers to have 50 starts. Because that's rough just under 20. That's about 3 seasons worth. of games,
probably. Yeah,
give or take.
And for as bad as he was with the Bears, where he started, he was terrible. The guy couldn't throw a ball into the flat to save his soul.
No,
the guy is 2 yards away, and he would throw it in the dirt.
Yes.
It was terrible.
I can't believe it didn't happen on the Bears. By the Steelers, he was at least a good backup, maybe.
Now, one thing I guess you can say about that statistic is, sure, all those other people, have thrown, 50 plus. He's on the minimum side.
Right.
I guess all those have done 10 times that, probably more.
Right.
So maybe that weighs it to some extent.
That could weigh it. Also, deep balls maybe is no, because it's pick six is 9 interceptions.
Yeah.
So it would be maybe they tended not to throw as much with Mitchell Trubisky, but he started because it was 50 starts, right?
Let's see, 50.
Not that we need to prolong it, but I was
sure.
curious.
Yeah. 50 plus games. Yeah.
Okay. So
it does started 50 plus games.
So he started all those games. I wonder how many of those he got pulled from.
Yeah.
They favored the running back on.
And you said something there too. Typically, pick sixes don't always come from certain part of the field,
right?
But you're right. If you're throwing more aggressively,
you're gonna
have something happen, right?
Deep balls would mean they have to run it farther back, but I would say there's a better chance of getting the interception on a deep ball.
Yeah,
maybe. I guess screen routes too, but maybe that doesn't.
But you've got to get the deep ball, turn around and run it all the way back. So in this case, I'm just thinking maybe with him, they did such high completion percentage type stuff that he still sucked at that
it was impossible.
The combination just de-emphasized the chance of him having an aggressive play going this way to go
back the
to
other
turn
way.
It and go the other way so quick. They were never aggressive with him. They were conservative as fuck.
They were. And, he'd still either, throw it out of bounds on the sideline or go in the dirt, like you said, in a screen play where the running back's 5 feet away.
Yep. So anyway,
You know what, Mitchell Trubisky, I'm glad there was some positive in your career.
Some positive.
You know,
because that's about it.
Yeah, then one of the darker careers that happened in the NFL. You weren't Josh Rosen, but you weren't exactly, Patrick Mahomes.
Josh Rosen, yeah, you just
from recent history, I guess.
Yes, no, that's a good because that's pretty bad. I mean, you just watch him play. It's like, the mechanics are just a nightmare.
And the Cardinals were like, we're going to stick with him. And it's like, here's Kyler Murray.
He looks like he's a sophomore quarterback in high school or something. I don't know. So there you have it.
Lordy.
There's our little trivia tip.
Hey, it's trivia with K-Dawg. Maybe
fun one.
Maybe when we start making, we have thousands of subscribers at this point. When we get to it, we'll have a little segment music for it.
Yeah.
But on maybe something like that. Yeah.
That'd probably be it.
We could throw it around. As for upcoming news of the podcast, we have some exciting things in the works.
I certainly do.
We have some minor things and a couple, I would say, more major things, especially for this podcast.
Yeah.
And as they happen, you will find out. I don't want to even tease it because you'll know.
It's just suffice it to say that it's going to be a big season coming up.
Yes. I think between where we started, if you watch the first episode of this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, to maybe the next 2 months, I think leaps and bounds for everything. I think I re-listened to it the other day, our first one. Good bones about where it was going, and I think we've done pretty good along, getting there. And you guys have come out and supported, so that's been nice. But
appreciate it very much.
We have some fun things in the works that'll help, and we'll keep going from there.
That's right.
It's episode 33, and we're still having fun with it.
Kind of impressed by that, aren't you?
A little bit. The consistency. There's been a few weeks we've had to kind of. Maybe not throw a shit at the wall, but we've made it work under circumstances.
And I got to say, this guy over here, he has been steadfast with this, even if it's just a short something.
Yeah,
getting it out. But I don't think any weekly show has been less than maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I think we had a 15-minute one. That's been the lowest.
But getting that thing out every week is such a key. It
gives me some structure to the week. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's good. And then coupled with the fact that, even if we had to record some in advance, it still kept it going. Yeah. So, exciting stuff.
Hey, we're making it work.
Right on, man.
And so I guess we can go right into this.
Without further ado.
So this week, we're going to do a fantasy segment. And like we said, we're probably going to bounce around between NFL and fantasy. Yep. It's kind of all the same thing, but different, how do I want to say it? How do you apply it's different.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to do top 15 tight ends for this upcoming fantasy season.
And I have not looked at anything fantasy-wise so far. I really haven't even. What you guys did on the couple
mock draft
podcasts ago. Mm-hmm. That is the most exposure I've had to any thought toward fantasy football so far.
I get that. I have not done it much either, and that's why I've kind of held back on us doing this. But the best way to do it is just to do it and figure it out. So we didn't have much time this week. We were both kind of busy, so that's why we went with tight ends this week. Only because it's low-key, it's a deep position this year. There's only one real guy on a team usually. It's a little easier to be like, I like him, I don't like him. Mm-hmm. So it felt like a good one just to start out doing, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and as soon as you handed these sheets to us, I looked at it, and right away my eyeballs were like, okay, clearly I need to do a little homework.
The tight ends, at least, I will say it's deep. The first, these we're going off of Fantasy Pros. I think it's standard, but the difference in tight ends really doesn't matter too much in that regard for rankings. So shout out Fantasy Pros for this.
Yep.
We're top 15 again, and I think what would be kind of fun to do is if you want, one of us will go first, and we'll go back from 15 to 1. Okay. And then I'll let you pick 15, and then I'll do 14, then you do 13. And
that what we think is 15?
Yeah, and we'll just kind of cross them off as we go.
Okay.
And we can kind of make it our own.
Perfect.
That being said, would you like to go first or second?
Why don't you go first and kind of show me the way what you're
kind of
thinking.
Structured?
Yeah.
Right. So, God, if I want to go with number 15, between kind of who they have in this area, I think I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say that he's 15, just because we're only doing the top 15. He's around the number. Fantasy Pros has him at 14. But with the different quarterbacks this upcoming season, and I'm assuming Russell Wilson will end up starting there.
Sounds that way so far.
They're making it sound that way.
We just talked about Mitch Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
What we're hearing about Justin Fields so far is he's kind of in that same
In between.
space, trouble with footwork, some fundamentals need some work yet.
Ironically, Bears fucked him up. Now the Steelers are trying to put him back together.
Yeah.
Same
Once
way
again.
Trubisky.
Yep.
But
I know what they're getting.
Yes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember Russell Wilson using a tight end a bunch throughout his
He
career.
really never has. You had Jimmy Graham in Seattle.
Yeah, that's a good point. That counts, but I never thought of him.
Meaning there's a
being
tight end thrower.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's those quarterbacks in the league. They're
Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
I mean, T.J. Hawkinson in Minnesota.
Yes.
Cousins loved him.
Yes, you can even argue for Jared Goff at this point to some extent.
Yeah.
But that being said, they have Freiermuth is 14. I think he drops to 15. Having Najee Harris, Russell Wilson, we just said his name, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
None of those guys scream it. Plus, Arthur Smith is there now with the new offense.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows how he wants to take Pat Freiermuth? I think he's still a great tight end to get. Again, it's a deep tight end draft this year.
Arthur Smith. Kyle Pitts was kind of lost in Atlanta, right?
Exactly. So
Not good.
I think they have him as 14.
Whew.
Let's pull him back to 15.
Yeah.
Just going to be my pick for 15. And collectively, this is the Coy Pond's top 15.
Okay.
But because of that, I'm going to take him off the board at 15 there.
Okay, so that's all right. That's where we're starting.
Yep. And then you can go 14, and you can just go whoever you think.
All
Usually
right.
just like reference.
Yep, I gotcha. Okay. I think that I am going to. Ooh, these are tricky.
It's a bit hard when you first see it. We're
Yeah.
seeing it for the first time.
Yep. I think I'm going to slide Dallas Goedert. They've got him listed as 11.
They do.
But I'm going to slide him back to 14.
You
correct?
got my pick for 13. Yeah, that's
because
fine.
I think that's just a little bit.
That feels high.
Feels high to me. Philly's going to have. They spent big bucks on wide receivers.
They have Smith,
Yep.
Brown,
Yep.
and
then they're running a lot, and that you Saquon
Saquon
Barkley.
Thank you.
So I don't know. They'll do some to Dallas Goedert, but
Every team uses a tight end.
let me just throw this in. There's a little piece to it. His first name. They don't want him to have the ball. His first name's Dallas. Come on.
I won't lie. I've never thought of it that way, but that's not exactly a terrible way to think about it.
So anyway, that's what I put.
That. I like that as 14.
All right.
Okay, this might be a hot take, but I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Brock Bowers,
All right.
13. Here's why. Michael Myers is already fucking there.
Yep.
I believe he was the tight end they recently got, right?
That's right. The year before,
And he was great.
back to back,
From what I remember, he was good.
he was.
Given everything that's
When they had
happened
trouble
with the Raiders,
trouble with quarterbacking and whatever.
They got
a lot of trouble.
They've had a lot of
Yeah.
trouble. I'm going to pull him back to 13. That's the second good tight end on that team. I know he's an amazing receiver. I'm not doubting his ability. But when you have Aiden O'Connell as your quarterback, and was there talks that Gardner Minshew's there?
Yes, that's right.
He's going to be the starter, I think, isn't he?
I think he probably will be.
So Gardner Minshew, starting quarterback. All the other news that's happened to the Raiders recently with the Raiders head coach's wife having to go bankrupt and owing like $28 million to I want to say it was property things.
Oh Lord.
So now the head coach is basically working for free. I think the Raiders as a whole will take a step back from that, and that's already bad news in the media for them. Mm-hmm. I don't like any of it, so I'm just going to pull Brock Bowers back.
There you go.
And pull him to 13. I think he'll still be a great pick. I just think in that Division 2 with the Chargers getting Harbaugh, with the Chiefs having a good defense, things just don't look amazing to me for Brock Bowers to be that high ranked above some of these other guys.
Yep.
Pull him 13.
All right. Makes sense to me. Let's see here. Boy, this is tricky, eh?
Yeah, no.
I think I'm going to put... Man. I think I'm going to put Evan Ingram at 12.
Okay, I like that.
I think, he's obviously a good target for Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
I think they drafted a receiver, if I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if they signed one in free agency. I was trying to remember that.
They obviously lost Calvin Ridley, and they lost DJ Chark.
Yeah. So I don't know if they've replaced that or not.
They had to have. I just don't know who.
Yeah. But I think he'll be about where they had him here at 10. Mm-hmm. So So I would say 12. He'd probably slide just a little bit from there, I think.
Yeah, no, I like that, honestly, at 12. Now it's the tricky part for me.
Yeah.
Is I'm thinking, I kind of like Dalton Schultz at 11.
Hmm.
I like TJ Hawkinson at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I truly like him that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because that starts at 9 to get up to the top 2 tiers.
Yeah, it gets tricky. The only thing I wonder about TJ is he's got a rookie quarterback.
You're right.
So
I forgot about that.
So he's lost Kirk Cousins.
He's lost a little value.
And Cousins loved him. And he's going to I think he's going to dip just a little bit personally.
I do too.
Just because I don't know.
Should I put him at 11 then? Cuz it's like I can't take Luke Musgrave at 11 now.
Yeah. You got Schultz there.
But I think Schultz going to be better than Hawkinson, so I almost have to go with Hawkinson. I feel like.
Yeah. And then you got all those guys up above that.
Yeah, which starts at 9. So it's like we got to find the 2, which is Cole Kmet's not going to be it.
No, I don't see that one.
I see him being way lower. So it's almost like I want to force a
Me
TJ.
too.
I almost wish we would have shifted I would have started with Hawkinson. We shifted it all down one and put him.
We could still change it.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's just shift it. So what are we?
So we're going to do a quick shift here.
Yep.
Bear with me.
15 is TJ?
I'm down to put TJ at 15 and move everyone down a spot.
Okay.
Right? Is that how it would be? Because he would be 15, and then
so you're going to keep
Pat
him?
would be 14.
Okay.
And then Dallas would be 13. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And so
Evan Ingram then becomes 11.
Yep.
And then this is pick. Okay.
Where's Brock Bowers then?
He would be 12.
He's 12.
Everyone just kind of shifts down.
Perfect.
If I'm saying that right. I'll have a graphic up here to
I think that's good though. So
then we've got
Hawkinson 15, Freiermuth 14.
Yes.
Goddard 13, Bowers 12.
Yes.
Ingram 11.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. That makes more sense to me. So then I guess we kind of have to put Dalton Schultz at 10.
I would think so. Huh?
I like that. I think he'll do better. Or are you having second thoughts now?
I kind of thought he should be higher than that, honestly.
Okay, well, technically it's your pick now.
Here's what I would do. I'm going to put Jake Ferguson at 10.
Okay, I like that.
Yep.
Right.
I like Jake Ferguson there. I think 9's pretty close.
Yeah.
Ferguson's tough. He's going to have a good year, there's no doubt.
This might be an even hotter take. I'd almost put Njoku after Ferguson and then do.
You want to do that?
That's not me.
So what are you thinking?
Oh, I like
Njoku then 9?
Yeah, or I mean, this is turning a little bit more debate. I'll have
That's
thing
okay.
up to clear it up. But honestly, David Njoku, best case scenario, has Deshaun Watson, who has amounted to nothing.
That's a problem for him, right?
That's a problem for a wide receiver on the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Njoku. I hate their wide receiver. I mean, their quarterbacks.
Yeah, agree.
I'd almost put Njoku
at 10.
At 10.
Agree.
All right.
Was that move Ferguson to 9 or?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
And then...
And again, I think Ferguson's going to have a really good year.
Oh, yeah. We're only talking about the top 15. I mean, these are going to be the best tight ends. It's just ranking them in their respective ways.
Yep. And by the way, a tight end that isn't even something that's going to be talked about here, but it does affect for Jake Ferguson just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys picked up an undrafted free agent from Minnesota. His first name is Brevin. His last name is hyphenated. Spanford, I believe.
Oh, my God. What a name.
The dude's 6'7" and 265 pounds.
Damn.
And mainly, obviously, a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
But now and again, he can catch balls or whatever. It'll be interesting to see. But again, the guy's kind of a beast.
That's awesome.
What's funny growing up is, if we ever got in trouble, Uncle Brian, my name Kevin, KVYN, Brian. So once in a while, I'd be called Brevin.
Oh, dear.
So when I saw that guy, the undrafted free agent thing, I'm like, oh,
would you know?
That's why it sounds so familiar.
There is
It's even
one.
spelled right.
Oh, that's hilarious. With a Y?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
So,
hey, there you go. Got
all
a
right.
nice jersey now.
There it is.
So then, but ipso facto, Schultz is 8.
I think so.
I don't hate that.
Let's face it. I mean, the Texans we know
are
going to be hitting on all cylinders. And I know they're going to be throwing to the receivers, but Dalton Schultz is a serious-ass weapon.
Well, the wide receivers, if you're who knows how NFL defenses really plan for those teams.
Yeah.
But you have to imagine they're going to double cover Diggs, put Nico Collins and Tank Dell in single coverage. And I think by doing that, you forget that Dalton Schultz is on that team, and he becomes a dominant threat.
A weapon, yeah.
Because the wide receivers are covered.
And he runs seam routes between the hashes down the center of the field, which C.J. Stroud loves to throw there.
Yeah.
He runs those routes incredibly well. I mean, he can be covered high and low and still catch a ball that's threaded in there.
Right. And
so I think he's going to be a massive weapon.
No,
he's going to have a great year.
And I could see, if C.J. Stroud, you always hear about the sophomore slump. If there's any problems, it feels like quarterbacks will always go to the tight end in that situation just to get that completion or that yardage or whatever.
Agree.
Okay. Now we go on to 8.
Okay.
I guess this is your pick.
So, Trey McBride is a talented guy. There's no doubt about it. I still just don't buy Kyler Murray all the way.
I like that.
And so I think we've got some guys in between there that are a little low. I'm going to slide Trey McBride back to 8.
I love that.
Because until Kyler Murray proves it otherwise, he struggles.
Yes.
And he'll go through stretches of games where he'll struggle. And I know that they've got Marvin Harrison Jr. now.
Right.
Which I think he's going to have some great stats.
No doubt.
But I don't know. I just have a vibe.
I completely agree. It feels like was Trey McBride drafted? Or was he on the team from 2 years ago, maybe?
He was on the team last year.
Okay, because
and he was pretty good toward the end.
Oh, is that what happened?
He kind of came on, yeah.
Okay. Because I keep trying to figure out, if I didn't know about this guy last year and he was on the team, why is he so high, other than the fact that Kyler Murray's going to be there the whole time this year, opposed to being hurt? Which, I get, but also like Kincaid, Kittle, Pitts, people that are below this guy supposedly, it's like, we haven't seen really a full season with him and Kyler. Now, maybe that means they're going to be that good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I know I'd like to see what the average game looks like, personally.
Agree.
So I love the 8.
Your turn, buddy.
7. Okay. I am going to go with Kyle Pitts at 7.
Okay.
The only reason I'm doing this is kind of the same reason you're doing 8 with Trey McBride. 7, new offense, new location, new scenery, all for Kirk Chains.
Yep.
Now, regular season warrior. There's no doubt that that Pitts could get 20 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bit much, but you know what I mean.
No, I think.
I don't hate it. Kyle Pitts, amazing tight end, but because he wasn't used at all last year.
Yeah.
And now Kirk Cousins will make sure he gets the ball, but they do have a new coach, new coaching staff kind of thing.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be out of the gate. It rarely goes as well as you hoped it would in the regular season. So, because of that, I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts at 7 personally.
I think that's a great point. I was kind of buying into that one a little bit quick, but it's going to take some time for them to get their timing down and all that.
It could be 5 weeks. You know, it could be quick, but in my head, it's just like there's too many factors when it's too many new things in a new place.
Yep, I agree with you. I think Kincaid is probably right here at 6.
I like that. I like that a lot.
They've got him at 7 here, but I'd say that's about right. You know,
but the difference between all these is so minimal. Yeah. Probably at the end of the day. But I like Kincaid given who's left at 6.
Yep.
Or did I miscount this?
Oh, we have 2 8s.
Do we really?
Yeah, that's my bad.
Oh, so Trey McBride would be 7.
Yeah, Trey McBride would be 7.
Kyle Pitts would be 6.
Kyle would be 6, right where he was.
Dalton would be 5.
Yeah,
perfect. I'll just edit
that's
that.
right.
That's
okay,
fine.
cool.
I'll edit that around with the right numbers from the beginning,
2
and then
8s.
it'll be like this never happened.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so
on we go.
Was that me next, or did I just do Kincaid? I just did Kincaid.
You did Kincaid.
Wait,
is that right?
No, I did Pitts. You did Kincaid.
That's right.
Sorry.
No worries.
So 4. So who the people we have left are
got a tricky list there.
Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle. You know what? This might be a hot take. I'm gonna put Andrews at 4.
I buy that.
I'm gonna put Andrews at 4.
Yep.
Only because of how well Likely did. I feel like I could see. Now this is gonna sound fucked up. A Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez situation where both of these guys can take split tight end receptions and both still do really well.
Right.
But you have more threats, which isn't a problem. But from a fantasy standpoint, you don't have one juggernaut.
That's right.
Is all I mean by that.
Yeah.
Not that I think Likely or Mark Andrews have been up to other things.
Yep.
But That's just how I see it. And I think Mark Andrews still does amazing this season. But
Agreed.
he was hurt last year,
He was
too.
hurt.
So that's
in there, too,
that
right?
kind of flares up now.
Yeah.
So him at 4.
Okay. All right. So
Top
the
3.
big question here, Kittle is the lowest ranked one still according to Fantasy Pros.
Yes.
Question here is Brandon Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Laporta, Kelsey, Kittle are all going to be in the top there.
Yep.
So is Ayuk going to get resolved? I haven't heard. I heard they were meeting.
It said the meeting went well, supposedly.
It went well. Okay, that's.
But
so
yeah,
if that is the case, and going with that premise, I will say Kittle at 3 for me here.
Okay, and this is as of whatever fucking day it is this comes out.
Yes.
For what it's worth.
Tuesday.
That works for me. Frankly, I think you could do 1, 2, 3 in any order for these guys and be okay.
I think so too. And again, Kittle's a beast. When he has those
Yes.
games, he goes off. He might get quiet for a couple games,
and then
he has a 3 touchdown game and just kills it.
Yes,
So
couldn't agree more.
fucking bastard.
I know, right? Travis Kelce, Laporta.
Were you surprised to see Laporta 1 or no?
Not as much,
Okay.
but you know it does beg the question. Laporta's so new; they've got a lot of good wide receivers on that team, but also Travis Kelce's old and reliable. He's old reliable.
He's old reliable.
Man, and I frankly, for my own sanity, I have to put Kelce at 2.
Yep.
I'm doing that strictly because
As a Chargers fan.
As a Chargers fan, I think Laporta can run that ball a little bit farther. The difference is fucking Kelce could be in 3-person coverage and get a touchdown to win the game.
He really.
So I would really split this 1-1
Yeah.
and make it a tie.
But I think you're right. I think give the age to Laporta, the youth, right?
That is what
the
all
youthful
I'm gonna say
vigor
is youth on the side of. We all saw how fast Travis Kelce was running towards the end of last season.
Well, and now that we know he's on the tour and he's in the show, he's going to be a little more worn out come football season. You know, he's carrying people around the stage. So, you see any of that?
I did.
Yeah.
Can't blame the guy though. That looked. That's got to be a hell of a perk to have as Taylor Swift
Oh my
as a
God.
boyfriend.
What a way to
Taylor Swift as a girlfriend being the boyfriend.
Yeah. What a way to step in there, right? Oh, now he's
Liv-
on the stage.
In Liverpool too.
Yeah.
That's got to be sweet.
Pretty cool.
But no, I agree. It's kind of just I'm just playing the age game at this point, and it feels right. And Jared Goff was giving Laporta the ball. I mean, that second half of last season, I was just throwing money on Laporta touchdowns, and it was working.
Jared Goff, to me, he is Kirk Cousins.
I can
the
see that.
style of play.
I agree with
Play
that.
action has to be their game
Yes.
to make the plays they make, right?
I completely
They're not a
agree.
pure passer that's going to
No.
rocket arm or hit the outside throws like a Pat Mahomes can or
Right.
somebody. So the play action, and that's a lot of times is a tight end is who you're going to.
Yes.
And so Pitts maybe next year, but Laporta already has that chemistry with Goff.
That's already there.
And let's be honest, the Lions are ripe for
They have
a huge season.
a year, maybe 2 years left.
Yeah.
I mean, they've David Montgomery, and it's not Swift who's their.
I don't. I
who's
think
the
he's
second running back on that
I can't
team.
remember who Gibbs.
Gibbs. Thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, between those two, Amon St. Brown, Laporta, Jared Goff, that coach, that secondary that stepped up last year. I mean, it feels like this year they should be primed. But I also might be saying that because I've got the bet on them. So
Barry Sanders is coming off the bench. Calvin Johnson's back in the fold.
Jesus Christ, is that Megatron?
Cats and dogs living together.
Everyone's buying in Detroit, which is awesome to see.
It is great
Frankly,
to see,
if they
actually.
would just win a Super Bowl, I would be so happy because
It'd be
means
wild.
it wouldn't be the fucking Dolphins, it wouldn't be the Ravens, it wouldn't be the Chiefs, it wouldn't be the Niners, it wouldn't be the Eagles,
Any of the teams.
it wouldn't be
that's
our
been-
teams either. But those 5 are
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams that if they won it, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah,
You know,
Texans. If they
Lions
win,
would be that.
yeah.
The Texans would be that.
There's probably a few in the
You can't
NFC.
hate those teams.
No, especially
How
with
could
how
ya?
it's been for them
Nah.
for this long.
I mean, even the Browns, it's,
I'd give them it. I
All
wouldn't
right.
be thrilled, but
Yeah.
I'd give it to them.
Yep.
They could use it. But yeah,
All right.
that's our top 15.
Woo!
Let us know what you
Tight
thought.
ends.
Tight ends in the wrap. We'll probably not revisit this, but you never know.
You never know.
Appreciate everyone for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you again next week. Peace.